Hello and welcome back to my channel. So on 10th of July 2001, a 20-year-old boy, Sef Gonzales, got home from playing games with his friends. He got home around 11:48 p.m. and when he got home, he found out that his mom, his dad, and his sister, they were all dead in different parts of their house. And they were killed very gruesomely. So he ran out of the house and shouted for his neighbors to come around. Shouted and shouted and shouted and started crying, and people ran to him and started asking what happened. He said he found his family, they were shot dead, and the neighbor was able to call the police, and when the police came around, they went into the house and checked and found his mom, Sef's mom, a 46 years old Teddy Gonzales, was found dead close to the living room's door. His mom was found in the living room, and the sister was found in her own room, and they were all murdered so gruesomely. The dad was stabbed to the extent that his spinal cord was almost severed. His mom's windpipe was severed. She was stabbed, she was beaten, and then the sister was beaten and stabbed, and her head was compressed, and there was she had force trauma on the head. So they were all murdered so gruesomely that the police started investigating the case. So they were at first, because the way the house was placed, there was no forced entry, and the thieves, even if it was thieves that committed this crime, there was no sign as if thieves took anything from that house. The $300 Aussie dollars, Australian dollars that the mom Mary Loiver had in her purse was there. $700 was in the dad's briefcase. So there was a total of 1,000 Aussie dollars with them, and none of them was stolen. The whole place, it was as if her purse the contents of the purse were poured on the floor. The contents of the briefcase were poured on the floor too, and nothing was taken. The whole place, it seemed a little bit ransacked, but the ransacking didn't look like something that was done by thieves. So the police started being suspicious. They were still investigating. So they started looking into the only survivor, the son, Sef Gonzales. So Gonzales was born in Philippines in 1980, and his mom, Mary Loiver Cladedes, and the dad, Teddy Teodoro Gonzales. So they were living in Philippines, and Teddy was a lawyer, so he had a lot of, he was doing well in Philippines. He had a law firm, and he had a hotel. So he was doing fairly well in Philippines. And in 1983, they had their daughter, Claudine. So they were just a very close-knit family, a Catholic family in that Philippines. And in 1990, the Luzon earthquake happened in Philippines, and that earthquake, their hotel of 40 bedrooms fell down, and Sef was stuck in one of the rumbles, and his dad, Teddy Gonzales, was able to save Sef from that rumble. That was what happened in 1990. And that 1990, after this whole thing, Teddy and the wife decided to move to Australia. So they moved from Philippines to Australia in 1990, and they started living their life. And Teddy became an immigration lawyer in Australia, and the mom was a tax officer also in Australia. So they were a very pretty close-knit family, and they Catholic values. They wanted the best for their children, especially academically, and they didn't want any distractions for them. So when it was found out that the daughter Claudine had a boyfriend, that had a boyfriend, and it was Sef that told their dad, that told their parents that Claudine has a boyfriend. And when they found that out, they took Claudine to her aunt's place in Melbourne. So they didn't want any distractions for them. And Sef himself was also a fairly good student. though he started failing his classes because he was focusing more on his music band. He didn't really like to study medicine that his parents were like trying to push him into. He went to the University of New South Wales. He was studying medicine in the University of New South Wales. So he wasn't doing very well, so he left the school after 2 years, and then he got into the University of Macquarie to study law, to follow his dad's footsteps in law. And while studying that law, he started failing his classes. So to the extent that the school had to advise him to leave the school because his grades were really very very low. So, and he didn't want to tell his dad. Most times when he was getting those lower grades, he would try to falsify his results, try to forge the results, and increase his marks. Though his sister Claudine noticed, his sister knows because he was bragging to her that he changed his results. So during this 2001, the school had already told him that he would have to leave the school because his grades were so low. And Claudine also had to tell the parents because he reported Claudine for having a boyfriend. So Claudine wanted to pay him back and reported him to their parents, telling them that he is failing his classes. So the parents were very very angry with Sef and threatened to take away his Ford Fortiva that he had, because they had bought him car. They were treating their kids very well. They bought Sef that Ford Fortiva and bought him different things, anything that he needs that is related to school. For him to have a very comfortable life, they would buy it for him. So they threatened to remove all those privileges from him since he's failing his classes. So Seth felt very very bad because he was already known in school as a big boy. He had really go back to not having anything. So he took that threat very seriously. But taking the threat seriously is not in the way of trying to like mend his ways and have good results. No, he took it seriously that, oh, since my parents don't want me to do this, don't want me to have this, then maybe they will have to go for me to have all this. So he started planning on how to murder his parents. He started researching on poisons, researching different things that he would use to poison his parents' family, so that we'll be able to inherit everything that the dad has and not have to work a day in his life, because the dad had already accumulated a lot of wealth at that time. So he was doing all of that, researching on how to kill his parents, while the parents were loving to him, trying to make him understand that he needs to do better in his academics. So Seth, on 10th of July 2001, Seth came back from school. Then went to his father's firm, because his dad had a law firm. So he went to the dad's firm and worked there too for a while, and came home around 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So when he got home, Claudine was already at home because she was home for summer break. So she was at home studying. So when he got home, he took the two baseball bats that was inside his car, the boot of his car, then and took 2 knives from the knife block in their kitchen, and went to Claudine's room, and he used that baseball bat to bludgeon Claudine's head, and then stabbed her on many times on the abdomen. He stabbed her many times on the abdomen, and in fact he killed her. He compressed her neck and her face. He did a lot of things, and Claudine died. So around 5:30, the mom came home from work. The mom, Mary Loiver, got home from work, walked into the house, and as she was trying to remove her shoes, Seth attacked her and used the knife to stab her stabbed her plenty times on her body. Then they severed her windpipe that was almost decapitated. So he killed the mom and then stayed there and waited. When the dad got home around 6:50 that evening, and immediately the dad came into the house. He also attacked the dad and killed and stabbed him so many times, to the extent of severing his spinal cord. So those are the things that he did. And after doing that, he spray painted one of the walls in the house and wrote "fuck off Asians," then KKK. After writing all of that, he went upstairs, had his bath, changed his clothes, and left the house. Around 8 p.m. he drove to his he was driving around trying to go to his friend's house, and then he connected with his friend Sam, and they both went to the game arcade. They played games and ate at the hotel and played. They played all through, and on around 11:48 p.m. he came home. He drove home, dropping his friend Sam at his own home, then driving home. When he got home at that 11:48 p.m., that was when he raised the alarm that he found his parents dead on the floor. And that was when the police started investigating the case and found out that there are a lot of inconsistencies. He would say this today, the next day he would change his testimony to another thing. He was not really consistent with what happened. He said he performed CPR on them. There was no sign that he performed CPR. Even the graffiti paint on the wall was found on his clothes. So the size 7 shoes that was used in committing the crime, that was used to match all over the place during the crime, was found in his bedroom. A lot of the things that he would say, most of them they found that pathological liar. So there was a lot of inconsistencies with his stories. So the police were really thinking that maybe he's the one that did this, that it was not thieves. How can thieves come into the house from 4:30 and commit? In fact, the space between of the crimes was 3 hours. No thief would come into a house and stay for 3 hours to commit the crime. Okay, if the thieves were able to stay for that 3 hours, why didn't they stay to the time that Sef came home to also murder him? So it was not really believable. It was not believable that the thieves came in and did all of that, and that it was a hate crime, that they hate Asians so much to come and to kill them, and waited for 3 hours to kill almost every member of the family and leave only Seth. So that was what happened, and the police were investigating. Then Seth also went the next day, 2 days after that thing, after the crime, after discovering his parents' bodies, he went to meet their family lawyer, and inquired on the estate, on the money, inheritance money that would be due to him. They told him that he would inherit for 1.5 million LC dollars, and there is also 1.3 million pesos in Philippines that are due to him. So he was trying to facilitate how to inherit all of these things almost immediately. So all these things were really, really very suspicious to the police. All these things were really very suspicious to the police, because if he's innocent of the crime, if he did not commit this crime, how would he go to their family lawyer almost immediately after the parents died, after that kind of gruesome discovery? Well, how would he have the mind to go and ask how much is he inheriting? Meaning that maybe he murdered his parents because he wanted to inherit their wealth. So the police started suspecting that maybe because of his bad grades that he killed his parents, so that his parents would not get to know that he's failing his courses in school. So went to the nearest neighborhood to rent a house and started living there. He started living in the nearest neighborhood. He rented a house there. So when he started finding out that maybe the police were getting in, are trying to, that maybe the police eyes are on him, he would do a lot of things. He will sleep on the streets and wake up and wake up and start, where's my dad, where's my mom, trying to do a lot of small tricks. Then he would call his godmother in the Philippines and tell her that he has cancer, that he would need $1,900 to treat his cancer. The Not $1,900, $190,000, that he would need that to treat his cancer, that he has cancer. During all of this time, it wasn't even very long after the parents' death that he called his godmother in the Philippines that he needed $190,000 to treat his cancer, that to start treating his cancer, that he has cancer. He pawned his mom's jewelries, their family cars. He sold off everything and made payment for 173,000 Aussie dollars for a Lexus that he wants to buy. He was just doing a lot of shady things after the death of his parents. So all those things were really suspicious to a lot of people. Then during their funeral, 10 days after this murder, on 20th of July 2001, during their funeral, he gave the eulogy, and then he sang One Sweet Home. The song doesn't have anything to do with funeral. It doesn't have anything to do with mourning the death of a loved one. In fact, people found it weird, but that was it. So he kept fabricating different lies to the police. The second alibi that he gave to the police was that during the time of their murders, that he was in a taxi, and a taxi dropped him at a brothel, that he met one of the sex workers there, and they did their thing, and that was where he was during the time of the murder. But when the police accosted the sex worker and the taxi driver, they both denied ever meeting Sef. They said he wasn't there, that the sex worker said that she was not with him during that time, and the taxi driver said that he didn't book his services for that day too. So the police were able to strike that alibi out of the list. So he kept lying, he kept saying different things, and he was not really straightforward with any answer. So the police were very, very suspicious of him, and in 2002, 13th of June, he was arrested and charged. His hearings started in 2004, April and May. So that was when the trial started, and during the trial, a lot of people of his family, extended family and friends came and tested that he was a pathological liar, and all the things that he was telling the godmother, most of them were lies. And from all the things that they found from the evidence that they were able to get when during the investigation, the court was able to sentence him to 3 concurrent life sentences. So that meaning that he will never come out of prison for the rest of his life. He was 20-year-old when this thing happened. He was 24 when he went live, and he has been appealing these sentences for 3 in 2007, in 2014. One also happened in 2021. So he has been appealing the sentencing, and it has not really worked for him. He didn't work for him. He's still sentenced to 3 concurrent life sentences, and he's serving out his time in prison. Instead of him to stand his ground and tell his parents that he doesn't want to be a doctor, he doesn't want to be a lawyer, that he wants to go into music, he wants to continue doing his music band, he had to like go through the other way and murdered his whole family. Both the sister that was studying medicine, he murdered his sister, murdered his parents because of bad grades, because he wanted to be entitled to their wealth. He wanted to have all the things that his parents work for. He doesn't want to work a day in his life. He wants to have the freedom of doing anything that he wants in life without anybody telling him what to do. He murdered his parents because of that. And what kind of world are we in? This happened 24 years ago, and crime still happens today. It continues happening. Children that are very entitled to their parents' wealth, people that feel that they don't need to work, people that feel that their parents talking to them is too much, they just kill them. A lot of family murders. This family murder thing was always very hard for me to even watch or cover, but now I'm covering it because people need to be aware. The world needs to be aware that people commit this type of crimes, and because of entitlement and a lot of other things. So this was the life of Sef Gonzales, and he's in prison now. He has been in prison for 24 since 2000 since 2000 yeah, he has been in prison since 2002, and this should be his 23 years in prison. I hope he's enjoying his life. He's doing music inside that prison. He's 44 years old now, so let him continue enjoying his prison life, enjoying everything that he's doing. Okay, maybe this is the life that he wants, because he felt that if he killed his parents, he'll be able to inherit all the millions of dollars that they have, and he'll be able to live a very carefree life. I hope he's living that carefree life in the prison. So this was the case of Sef Gonzales. Please, if you like listening to these stories, please subscribe to my channel and leave case suggestions on the comment section, so that I'll be able to make more videos on this type of crimes. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you, and please subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Bye.